Part 11, Ode to a Skylark. Continuation. When the poet says, we look before and after and pine for what is not, our sincerest laughter with some pain is fraught, our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thoughts. The poet then goes on to surmise, yet if we could scorn hate, pride, and fear, if we were things born not to shed a tear, I know not how thy joy we ever should come near. Even if we despise hatred and pride and fear, even if we human beings, stop hating each other, stop being proud, stop being fearful. If we were things not to shed a tear, if we were born not even to shed a tear, not to feel sad, not to feel pain, not to feel grieved about anything, we would never reach the joy that the skylark experiences. Right? See, look at the use of vocabulary in this stanza. Yet, if we could scorn hate and pride and fear, instead of using these, instead of saying hatred, pride, and fear, he says, if we could scorn is another word for hate. So I use despise. So he has played with the words to bring about that lyrical effect and making it more meaningful. Better than all measures of delightful sound, better than all treasures that in books are found, thy skill to the poet were, O scorner of the ground. This is the penultimate. We are nearing the end of the poem. So the poet here seeks inspiration from the skylark. He says, better than all measures of delightful sound, the skylark's music is better than any kind of music which uh, the poet has heard, and it teaches him more than that he can achieve in all the books that he has read. So he says, the skylark is a teacher. Thy skill to the poet were, that is, the teachings of the skylark is better than the best music and better than the best books that can be found on this earth. Thou scorner of the ground, thou hater of the ground, skylark, who is the hater of the ground, who loves to fly high. We are now coming to the last stanza. The poet says, teach me half the gladness that thy brain must know, such harmonious madness from my lips would flow, the world would listen then as I am listening now. The poet asks the skylark to teach him just half the gladness which it experiences. If he gets that half gladness, he will also be able to produce poetry. Harmonious madness, which he calls, will flow out of his lips, and the world will be compelled to listen to him just as he is listening to the skylark now. Teach me half the gladness. The poet says, just half the gladness that the skylark experiences will do, because he will be, with that inspiration, he'll be able to produce that harmonious madness, that kind of poetry which will compel the world to listen to him just as he is listening to the skylark now. So, this is the last stanza. This is the text. I've taken the text line by line, and I'm sure you'd love each line of it.